a little cut out there. It just notches and make sure it goes in there, otherwise you'll trap it between the engine cover and this control arm here as well. You don't want to do that, obviously it's going to cause a problem. Another thing I've noticed is this is a bit slack. Should have a couple of screws through here just to clamp this to the engine cover, so I'm going to do that. But first of all, I'm going to go inside because I'm going to have my tea. Look, if you can see there, look at that. Ginster's pie for tea, look. I'm quite hungry now. Steak and onion, Ginster's. I'm going to go and have that, and then later on I'll come back and might just tidy this up, and I might even go out for a quick pint as well. So hopefully you can see now that it doesn't actually take a lot of time to service these little things. When I've only been going probably about 40 minutes, I've done the carburetor, changed that starter up, tidied up underneath, sharpened the blade, checked the belts all working, there's no grass underneath from where I brushed it off. I've got that far and I've put some oil in it now and it probably run and start okay. Probably don't need any more work, just a few screws here and there and a bit of paint and pretty much there really. I can get this on and sell this and make some good money. So in the second part of this video I'm just going to basically just tidy up. I'm just looking at it now, I'm just going to basically just paint a few bits up and tidy it up and see what we can make out of this mower. And just to answer some questions, I get asked this about once a week, what do I use to keep these lawnmowers? What makes them look so clean and shiny? I'll just use WD-40, in fact I use it that much. I paid £25 for a 5 litre tub of it and I just fill it up in here because you can see here obviously it still wants painting up, but it's absolutely brilliant for cleaning stuff if you just just run it over everything. Just basically give it just a quick clean off. I think I've probably shown this in other videos as well, but I still get asked it a lot. And even that, if you to take a photograph of that now compared to a few seconds ago, it already looks better quality, doesn't it? It's all about looking good on the listing, especially that recoil at the top. It's shiny, it all looks clean and tidy and presentable. It looks like somebody serviced it and looked after it. I've not even painted anything up yet, so yeah, just get yourself some of that. You can go through it quite quick actually, but it's great for cleaning stuff off. Really makes a massive difference just to these parts, especially when you're taking photographs outside in the sun. That'll look great as well. I've often found this Hammerite metal paint here, this hammered black, gives a really good match on these Mountfield mowers with this type of paint on. So I'm no expert at polishing things up and stuff, but I just get a little brush just to tidy things up. I just put a little bit on the bottom, and often it can just make it look more presentable. It certainly helps with the appearance of the mower. Just tidies it up a bit. Try not to knock any paint off that looks loose or anything like that. I'm not looking to do a totally professional job. I'm just looking to tidy things up around the bottom edge, just so when it comes to listing it, it looks more presentable. I'll just do this around the bottom. I don't need to go mad. And I'll use the smooth black paint on this recoil cover at the top. Around the back where I showed where it was all white before, we'll just do those bits there. As you can tell there, just around the bottom edge of that. Once that dries on, it should look, should match in quite well. That really just makes it look newer, I guess would be a good word. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes as well, just to go around this part, see where the little bits of paint are missing off. I don't always do this, but this is, these resell quite a lot of money to these mowers. People are quite happy when they buy these. They seem to last a long time, and they see them listed on eBay and they know how long they've had their other one, and they're quite happy to purchase a new one at a reasonable price. So yeah, I'm just going to go around and just do a few little tidy bits up there. Nothing too spectacular, just tidy it up. So as you probably gathered from them few clips, my painting skills are, you know, zero, but luckily for me this hammerite paint is very forgiving. It dries nice and flat. You can, you know, put it on as thick and whatever as you want. It still looks great when it's dried. It's certainly looking a lot better than it did when I picked it up just a couple of hours ago anyway. So yeah, I'm going to wait for that to dry. I'll put some oil in there again now. I haven't put a plug in yet. I'll probably take this outside and just see what it runs like, see if it runs any better now we've serviced the carburetor. I've got this mower outside today. As you can see, it's looking quite a lot tidier. I'm just going to fire this up and just see what it runs like now we've serviced the carburetor. Right, so that's been serviced, the carburetor, but as you can probably tell, it's still not running any better than it was before. It's there's a lot of vibration there, so it could be the keyway at the top that's got damaged as well. If you remember, the bottom one was slightly damaged, or it could be the carburetor. And the quickest way to find out is just to swap these parts over. I've actually got another petrol tank and carburetor in the garage on another mower, so I'm going to swap it over and just eliminate that, just to find out if it is that or something else. I've actually got a mower here I'm just using as my own at the minute. I always keep one for myself. But I know this one starts and runs great. I don't have any issues with it revving up and down or trying to stall, so I'm going to unbolt that one and just swap it over. It's the quickest way to do it without having to take this engine apart and have a look at this keyway. It's just quicker to swap the petrol tank and the carburetor over, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Here we are again, take two. Swap this over, which is it's only a 2-minute job on these, which is great because it's only a couple of bolts as I've shown. Just prime this over and see what we get. So there we go, with a different carburetor and petrol tank on. It works fine. It's running a little bit fast, I would have said, but there's no revving up and down, no stalling. All those vibrations have gone, so I don't need to start taking anything apart. I just know that I've still got a problem with this carburetor, so I'll have another look. Sometimes sort of one every 10 that you do with these, you'll do it and it don't run any better, and sometimes it's just a case of taking the carburetor out and cleaning it, making sure it's absolutely completely dry and just trying a different gasket, and sometimes it will just make a difference, but it doesn't happen often. But I would say about 1 every 10-15 you'll do a mower and service the carb, and you'll be disappointed when you start it up. It doesn't seem to run any better at all, but it just goes to prove that there's nothing else wrong with this engine in this mower. All the keyways are obviously okay, no massive vibrations, so it's just a quick tip really. Rather than go and do all that work, if you've got a spare carburetor and petrol tank, just keep a spare one. I've got another spare one somewhere, and bolt it on. It can just eliminate so many problems. So I'm going to take this one back in the garage. I'm just going to check it for a few things. Make sure all these little tabs that are on the carburetor, that sit on the carburetor, on the diaphragm and gasket, are all over right. And sometimes where the spring goes down as well, if you don't get the spring going down quite flat, it goes down on an angle, it don't vibrate properly. Also, when I took it off, one of these rings at the back was out, but that often happens. But sometimes you don't get those seated correctly either. So I'm going to check all those things, and I'll try this other one back on it. And I'm sure there'll be a reason for it somewhere. The only thing I didn't do on this one, which I normally do, is I didn't remove the main jet, and I didn't spray that with carb spray. But the holes in these are normally quite big, and sometimes it can be a little bit fiddly to get back together. But in this case, I might have to